Hey guys, welcome back to episode 28 of the Far Kingdoms podcast. It is Kevin and I, and we are back to talk about our campaign and talk shit about everybody in it. How you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, good. How are things?
Things are right.
That's right. That's a weird question.
How
we don't
things are
we don't
bad.
ask each other that.
No, I mean, maybe it's the vibes in the back that gotten me nice and talkative, Anyway, what'd you think of last session?
Okay, took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, you
I thought
first.
it was good.
Oh!
I really enjoyed the roleplay segments of that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Some meaningful roleplay out of that. I rather enjoyed that.
It was the talk between you and Storm, right? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go that way, but it was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I think about those types of things. Like, the less I have to play, the better it is for me. So I like those parts. But honestly, yeah,
It
was good.
Yeah, what do you think about the session?
The full session. Roleplay bits were nice and fun. Combat was nice, simple. I'd say the combat was pretty one-sided, pretty easy. Nice, nice break from what we're usually down to do. And everything else I'm not too fussed with. I'm interested to see where it goes, like especially after that ending. But I guess we'll get to that, right?
All right, take it away with the recap.
Oh, is it my turn?
Well, listen, right?
Yeah.
I was speaking to Lewis the other day,
Oh.
and he dropped a bomb on you. He dropped a bomb on you. You know what he said?
What did he say?
He said that, hey, Albert did you dirty. And I was like, hey, what did he do? You, was talking for, 2 hours straight to AK, and, he said nothing the entire time.
Look, I give a man his spotlight, I know how to take a step back and watch from the sidelines when a man is in his zone, right? Look, I stepped in. I stepped in when, you missed some, rather important parts, but, you had that recap on lock.
Listen, I'm not putting this against you. I'm not against you here. I thought it was fine, but yeah, he thought you did me dirty. So in order to balance it out, let's have the DM do the recap.
Wait, if he's the one thing did you dirty, then why do I have to do it?
No, we're doing it for him.
Wait, why would I want to do it for him? Because
satisfied.
he's the one throwing me under the bus here. Hey, that makes me even want to do it less.
Because he listens. He listens to the podcast.
Oh, that guy, walking a thin line here. All right, so last session, we start outside the city of Dawnhelm, and we mess around for a little bit. I believe there's some chat about the magic items and who has what and what they do. Maple has identified all of them. He knows they are Dawn, Sunbeam, and Sunburst. All very sunny spells. And that goes along with the sun sword you guys found and the cape that has the sun on it. And Tokel, who put the robe on, he finds this note. There's this note stuffed into the side of the cloak of the robe. And he pulls it out and he reads it, and it's in this old common, and it's talking about this guy who's on his last breaths after he suffered a toxic bolt from a dark elf warrior, and now he's living his last life with the Mycenids who have taken him in, and he says that he stashed the last heirlooms of his line, of his Sun Warrior clan or whatever it is, in the city of Dawnhelm, in this, I believe, orange bricked home or green bricked home or something, like the city center. But he also warns future adventurers of this beast of fire and brimstone that patrols the city, and he states that perhaps it was the last army that conquered the city, and they left this beast there so that the dwarves would never come back and reclaim their home. And you guys are like, oh, alright, cool, there's some loot. There's some loot. Oh, cool, let's go get some loot. And you guys walk up, you guys inspect the bodies of goo and the cocoons. You find that the webs themselves are of this very toxic kind of acidic nature. Through y'all rolled some really good medicine checks, I noticed, throughout this whole session. Everyone got a medicine check over 20 or some shit. That was wild. I don't know. Do you notice how we're doing a lot more medicine checks recently?
There haven't been Yeah, you're right. They haven't been very prevalent. I guess because we've had party members that aren't really specialized in medicine checks.
Yeah. I like... what I've noticed in like the last few sessions is that the amount of times we're doing just checks in general is just going up like a lot, I think. Like there have been some sessions where we've had like 3 rolls, like 4 or 5 rolls in total for like the whole 4-hour session. It's just people talking like shit.
Yeah.
But I think these ones, there's been a lot more just rolling in general. Do you think that's better, or it's just like just different?
This is a topic that we've talked about before. I think it's fine, honestly.
But it's
I think
not
that
better.
there's probably, I mean, it's not better or worse whether you have more or less rolls. I do think there's such a thing as too many rolls. Like, just say, for example, this is an extreme example. Like, your character's trying to walk up a flight of steps. And you're like, hey, you got to roll athletic check to climb up the stair. And he, just happens to roll natural 1. You fall down and break your ankle somehow. That sort of thing is just like, hey, I just walk up the stairs. Like, I don't try to walk up the stairs. I just walk up the stairs. Look, you know what I mean?
If someone tells me they want to run up a flight of stairs like really fast in like a panic mode, I'd be like, oh, that kind of sounds like an acrobatic/athletics check, I don't know. Maybe it could happen.
No, I think in certain cases where like you're trying to make a particular action, a daring action, an action that has some risk involved with it, right? Definitely. Like running up the stairs, or you're trying to catch an object, if you drop it, it breaks or whatever it is. Yeah, check's fine for that. But simple things where like people are just doing normal stuff that you don't normally fail unless you're got no brain.
True. Like if there's some guy with like 4 strength is trying to like climb upstairs or something. That'd be kind of messed up. Yeah,
like as soon as you step on the first step, your shin splints.
Yeah, your muscles too weak. You can't make it. That'll be the nifty campaign to play. I think a good rule of thumb, I might have read this somewhere, is that you only roll if there's actual consequences to failing the roll. Like
exactly. The risk.
The risk, the error, the lack of something. So like if they fail the medicine checks, you guys wouldn't realize that it's the webs themselves that are fucking these dudes up, and not some kind of toxin that they ingested through their bodies or something like that. Anyway, you find that the bodies have been there for quite a while. There's a few dwarves in there. There's some gith in there, and you guys enter the first stalactite. And as you guys enter the first stalactite, there is a momentary moment of confusion for everybody in the party as I send them my absolute garbage picture of what Dawnhelm looks like from the outside. Look, I thought it was a good picture, and AK understood what I was saying, okay? So if someone else understands, that means I'm not crazy. Or that means we're both crazy. So, I'm not crazy.
I think what was confusing is because we started out on the beach, which is this huge cavernous place, like big, wide open, right?
Yeah.
And if we had gone on the boats towards the city, and then you described there's the 2 big dwarves holding up the stalactites, and you see the entire city is actually hanging upside down, then that picture would have made more sense. I think within that context, it wouldn't have been as harmful to the comprehension of what you were trying to display here.
It probably wasn't as relevant.
But instead we went through a bunch of little tunnels, and then we went to the mushroom place, went through that place, and then we went on a river. We went a little river, and then we're at a gate. What I was picturing is there's just a gate in the side of like the cave wall of this little tunnel we're in where the river is at, and like that's what we're looking at, right? I had no idea that there was any stalactites. You did say like there was a stalactite there, but I thought it was the other one where it's coming out of the ground. So I was like, oh, okay, this is a big stalactite coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
And I honestly get confused between
I get confused all the time.
The ones that hang down and the ones that stick up.
You gotta find
but no, we're actually, I just think that the transition from like, a lazy river ride to the city hanging upside down over a sea of lava is very is very jarring. Yeah. And then when you put that image there, it made it even worse because like, what the hell? What? And you also described that there was 2 people hanging in cocoons, and I was trying to place the 2 wrapped up dudes as the 2 dwarves that were holding up the city. So I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of blood there. There's so much blood there, and why do they? What's that brown stuff? Is that the web, or is that? Turns out they're like beards, right? It's a beard, right?
It's a beard. Yeah, it's a beard. It's a beard.
It's a beard.
Look, if I were better at drawing, maybe it would have made more sense. Maybe not. I think the biggest problem there was the transitory period between sessions, where because everyone forgets stuff, right? Between session to session, I forget shit all the time. Where we ended at this spot, but there was some stuff in between, like right before it, that nobody remembers. So there was definitely a period of travel between when you guys disembarked the Myconid boats on the lazy river and where you end up at the stone bridge that extends into the first stalactite that is the city of Dawnhelm, right? I think that's where the area confusion was.
I think specifically where you ended off last week was we got off the boat and we're at the gate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't remember there being like a bridge part until the last session we had yesterday.
Yeah, some stuff lost in transition, I guess. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't too big of a deal, would you say?
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
As long as everyone's on the same page at the end of the
I
discussion,
wish I could, like, draw, like, not even, like, people or anything, just, like, architecture, just, like, so you guys see what I see, you know? Because every time we describe something or talk about something, I know for absolute certainty to what is in my head is completely different to what's in your guys' head. Like, I'm pretty sure each of you has a different idea of what I'm describing, like the Night Walker and stuff, and all that. It's we see different things, but it doesn't usually make a difference at the end of the day. But still.
Yeah, I don't think it's vital that you get the exact image in your head into the other player's head. But as long as you describe generally the gist of what's going on, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just something I would personally like to do, you know, like, hey, this is what I see, and I could clearly show you guys, like, this is it, this is what it looks like. But one day. Anyway, you guys venture past the gate. You whistle. Snow whistles. He does the whistle he can't actually do in real life, but he does the mouth to. Wait, isn't his mouth covered?
Yeah, but like he can push about the bandages.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Fair.
Eat or drink or whatever it is.
Fair enough. He does the whistle, and in reply to this whistle that reverberates through the stalactite and past that, there is this infernal roar that reverberates all the way back, and it's like this bellow, and there's this surge of heat and fire from all the lava as this beast is maybe not awakened, but agitated, and it's coming from somewhere in the city, and the smart mind could probably assume that this beast is probably the same one that the old Sun Man was describing. You guys are like, maybe we should be a little more quiet. And so you guys walk in, and Storm asks Maple to light one of the fires, and Maple does so. And a volley of arrows is shot towards the party. And you all take different actions. 3 of you dive behind cover. Ravadar uses Thunderclap to deflect said arrows. Kenji jumps up, catches an arrow, and flings it back. Tokul is there with his shield out. He's ready to protect people. And mechanically, and I should probably actually do more research on this and verify, but Thunderclap, as the description states, it pushes unobstructed or unsecured objects further away from the caster. And while technically, I believe this like, say if you use it in a room full, like a dining room, it would throw the plates off the table, it would throw the cutlery over, it would throw the cups and the table and the chandelier one on, who cares? And throw all that shit all around, right? But mechanically, I don't think it actually deflects projectiles. What do you think? Do you think that's a fair assumption, Kevin, or is that just me being DM ass?
Yes, I think lame-o D&D rules probably say that's... Well, they probably don't expect people to use it in that way. And there's probably no wording for it to be used in that way. Okay. But the vagueness of the wording is kind of a staple of 5e. So you could take that any way you want. I think at the end of the day, it is just DM discretion. And if you think that's not how it should work, then that's not how it's going to work from now on.
Yeah, but in that particular instance, it does work. Purely because I think it's honestly a really cool idea. And I can imagine, like...
Yeah.
You can imagine, like, a war between, like a bunch of military guys and a bunch of mages, and they fire, like, the arrows, and, like, 10 mages just stand up, and they all thunderclap at the same time, and all the arrows just get deflected. That'd be sick. That's a great idea. Honestly. So he does that. Kenji...
But will you allow it in the future? You know?
No.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's not happening
but
in the future, no.
it is just an exception.
Yeah, it's a first level spell that could deflect projectiles. I don't know. It seems a bit too strong. Honestly, I'm not one to balance spells, but from where I'm standing, it seems a little too strong.
I think you can't cast it as a reaction, so in actual combat,
it wouldn't work
it's
anyway.
not going to be that anyway.
I mean, could you technically prepare an action to like cast thunderclap if someone shoots at you? Would that work? I don't know.
That could work.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that scenario, it'd probably be balanced because you're using one spell to counter one attack, and maybe yeah. But in this scenario where it's like 8 guys shooting in that general direction, probably not. Anyway, the payoff is that Tokal also gets hit with a thunderclap and he takes a bit of damage. Kenji does some really cool shit. He jumps off the ground, catches an arrow, flings it back, and it impales into the chest of one of the guys that was shooting at you. And Snow calls out, what does Snow say?
He says, "We come in peace. We just want to talk with you. We don't have to want to kill you."
And there's this lull of silence, and one of the drow warriors, this obsidian-skinned, purple-eyed, draped in black gear, warrior steps up, and he looks at you, and there's this flash of recognition in his eyes, and he says, "Do you happen to have a dragon-born companion with this gold-scaled companion with you?" And Tokal steps up, and not exactly gold, but he's like, "We've been waiting for you, or the matriarch has been expecting you." And so he says, "You two may come with me and follow me to meet our matron mother, and the others will have to stay here and wait for your return." And honestly, you guys, I honestly thought you guys would be more sketch about the whole situation and be like, "Oh, I don't know if we want to really split up here. It seems like not such a good idea." But everyone's like, "Yeah, you know what? We got this. You go. What do you think spurred that decision? Do you think everyone's just like chill now, or just didn't really think about it?
I think everyone kind of respects Snow's authority when he says, "Hey, you guys got to stay here," which I appreciate. They could have just said, "No, we're coming with you," and it probably wouldn't have been much I would have done about that. Yeah. But yeah, it could have been a trap, but I think just based off what spurred these events, like us freeing the demon lady from Blackhold Mountain, I don't know, it added some credibility to, and also the dream, the vision sequence added some credibility to what the drow was saying. So I think that kind of led to us being a little bit more accepting of the situation.
Okay. And I mean, it's not like there wasn't contingency plans either. Like even Snow was like, "Hey, if we don't come back in like, what was it, like 2 days or something?"
8 hours.
8 hours.
2 days was too long. Yeah.
And just like send me a message or whatever, and if we don't come back, you guys are gonna come and get us or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's not like you guys weren't without any kind of plan B, but it was a very brave of you nonetheless. And so he leads you, and he's mocking you the whole way, talking about how Upper World is a hot trash, the garbage of what they do.
Don't you think it's kind of stupid that they fired on us? Like, they could have killed us, right? If they were expecting someone.
I mean, I feel like
they could have killed us.
I mean, from a warrior's perspective, if you died like the first volley of arrows, then you're not worthy of meeting her anyway, right? It's like,
but it's a sneak attack, though. It's a sneak attack.
I mean, all drow attacks, sneak attacks. These guys, I
know, but they could have just said, "Hey, stop right there, or we'll fire, we'll shoot." But no, there's no questions asked. They just shoot.
Yeah. Look, in the Underdark, it's a dangerous place. You don't ask questions. You shoot first, and then ask questions.
But
later.
They're expecting us. They're expecting. I mean, I understand if they weren't expecting anyone, then they shoot. but they were expecting someone, so they shoot.
Maybe they just kill you and then they bring you back and then you get revived. You know? It's like, we kill now, ask questions later. It's do or die, you know? Do or die.
Damn. It's a bit over the top.
Maybe maybe they're trying to avoid prolonged conversation, as if to not attract the attention of something out there. Who knows? Anyway, you guys follow you guys down, and he's talking shit. He's like, "You guys suck, haha. You guys sunwalkers, they suck." And Snow says nothing. Toggle says nothing. Fair enough. He leads you down through a series of stalactites. You end up in this web-covered one where there's a few squadrons of drow warriors patrolling around. There's a few much more heavily armored, and in this black obsidian plate armor, and the skulls engraved on the sides, and they look fucking sick. And they're looking at you, and they're glaring at you. And he goes down, and he leads you to this web-covered cavern, right? And there's the pedestal in the middle with the handprint of a dwarf, well, you can assume is a dwarf handprint. And that's pretty much what Magna describes as the mechanism in order to release the gates, the drawbridge into the citadel itself.
Yes.
And
yes.
You see the silhouette of this massive spider. I always hesitate to use the like large, like descriptive words like massive or huge, because technically she's a huge creature, right? The spider's a huge creature, but I want to say she's fucking massive, or like humongous, or like a giant, or whatever. But then that puts in the wrong impression that she could be like fucking mammoth size, or not mammoth size, like kraken size, or whatever. And that's not right. So you know what? Fuck it. I might just say she's huge, mechanically speaking. Whatever. Anyway, we see a silhouette, and she starts talking. She's like, my mother has been, she sent you a vision, and she's granted you an audience with me. And Snow's like, what the fuck? I want to talk to the mother. And then she's like, no, you're not talking to me. You're not cool enough to talk to the queen, the true mother, the spider queen.
But she summoned us. So I was expecting a personal audience, not just some lackey.
Oh, you were going to call one of the matrons of the noble house a lackey? Oh,
because she is. Compared to the matriarch, she is.
Everybody's like compared to the matriarch, though. You know, they live in fear of that woman. You unleash the devil upon the drow.
Yeah. That's why I want to talk to her. I want to talk to her. Not budget Shelob, you know.
Oh, you want true Shelob?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, fuck you. I'm speaking here. This is my home. Not really. I'm far away from home. But anyway, she's like, what are you guys doing here? Snow's like, well, we're on a quest to get the Oathbreaker. And you say that you tell her that you need to like lower the drawbridge, right? And like stuff like that?
Yeah, I basically just lay out all of our plans to her.
And then she's like, oh, so you have the other half of the Oathbreaker, and you guys are like, do you guys say yes to that?
Yeah.
You guys are like, yeah,
we do.
And she's like, well, here's the deal. We are on a mission here to capture some fugitives that have fled from our home. I don't think I actually said what the home name was, but it's the Menzo Baranzine. I feel like that's the name of it. But anyway, and she's like, well, if you guys go capture them for us, we'll let you do your thing here. You can have the whole citadel to yourself, and we'll leave you all in peace. And you all like, alright. And Tokul, being Tokul, she's like, you guys walk away, and Tokul's like, hey, wasn't she kind of cute? She kind of looked like Sugar. And everyone fucking facepalmed at that exact moment.
I mean, we should add that the giant spider transformed into a beautiful drow woman, butt naked. But I imagine that like she had really long hair and like the hair covering
hair censorship.
The stuff was, like the Garden of Eden look, was just covering everything. But yeah, she's a drow woman, so she's got like bluish night-colored skin with purple eyes and silver hair, looking nothing like a normal human. And Tokul is just like, hey, that's Sugar. That's Sugar.
That's a mildly attractive woman. I think that's Sugar.
She's a female, therefore she's Sugar.
She's a female under the age of 30? She's Sugar. I don't like old ladies, Tokul.
Although I doubt that the Spider Woman was
under the age of 30. Probably
but,
not. She looked it.
Really, no, there's no connection to Sugar there's no similarity to Sugar other than her being
a woman.
Female.
And attractive. and
attractive.
Honestly, at this point, I don't even remember what Sugar looks like. I feel like I've said this before, but I don't remember what she looks like. Tokol could probably tell me.
I just imagine her as a generic pretty girl with brown hair.
Oh, like the girl next door type vibe? Or like...
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I do recall she was a prostitute.
She's prostitute pretty, you know. She's pee-pee.
She pee-pee?
Yeah, she's pee-pee.
Okay. She pee-pee. Yeah, and he was like, alright, cool. And you guys are led back, and he's still talking shit. Your guide's still talking shit. And there's a few moments in between that conversation where we pan back to the other guys and they're just messing around. Kenji is meditating. Storm is playing some music. Maple's reading a book, and Ravenar is... I forgot what he was doing, to be honest.
I think he was looking through some of the houses and stuff, which Storm eventually starts doing that because he's really bored and restless.
And there are a few funny moments between Kenji and the guy who has this arrow still stuck in him, by the way. He never pulled it out. And the guy's just like grimacing as the blood's still trickling down and like the toxins kind of pulsing through his blood, and he's still like glaring at Kenji the whole time.
What color is the drow blood?
I want to put it at like a darkish blue. But honestly, that's something I should probably look up just and see. But you know, but in my headcanon, it's kind of like a darkish blue.
Yeah, you don't need to stick to the D&D lore.
D&D conventions.
You go on your own. It's a homebrew.
Yeah. The blood is neon yellow. Yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, then that kind of makes them seem like insects. Because insects
like
have,
spiders,
like, yellow goo, or like you think of yellow, you think of pus.
Ew.
They've got like pussy blood.
Ew.
They got a high white blood cell count.
Ew.
Really pussy.
Yeah, no, never mind. It's like a dark blue for now. Until I look it up. I'll put that in the notes. Yeah. And so you guys come back and Snow relays the information, and then Snow leads them to this place, and you guys realize that you guys are actually being followed. You guys are being shadowed by a group of unknown assailants, and you guys turn around. And you're like, all right, come out now. And then there's some hesitation, and then one of them drops down, and then she's like, well, we're ordered to follow you, make sure you complete the mission properly. And then Snow's like, well, fuck you for wasting my time. And then he just 180s, turns around. And then there's, would you say, some heartfelt conversation between Storm and Snow?
Yeah, well...
Want to go through that?
Yeah, well, Tokol and Snow... Well, Tokol says to Snow while they're making their way to capture the fugitives, he says, like, hey, should we tell them about the dream that we had? And Snow says, yeah, I don't want them knowing about us inadvertently releasing a all-powerful demon, 2 years ago. And Storm overhears parts of this. He overhears Tokol asking the question and Snow saying something back. And he's like, hey, what's the big idea? Let me know. Hey, I want to be in on this secret.
Yeah, let me roll some perception dice.
And eventually, like, Snow's reluctant to tell him, but like Snow tells him, okay, well, yeah, 2 years ago we did do that. And Storm's like, oh, that's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? Like, I'm sniffing the hypocrisy, which I think is it's not the same. I don't feel like it's the same. I mean, one was us trying to stop it, so we were intending to stop it, whereas Storm intentionally got the demon mark. So I think that there's some differences there that you're overlooking. But Snow wasn't too happy with Storm kind of, ribbing Snow for keeping secrets and stuff like that. But and then we encounter the stalkers, and then after we start heading on our way again, Snow says, "Hey, look, I'm sorry for blowing up on you back there. It's just that it's really painful." Snow feels like it's a really painful memory for him, and it was kind of like a turning point in his story. He's seen a lot of stuff that he wish he didn't want to see, and Snow's trying to move past that, but bringing it up still hurts him inside, so he doesn't want to relive those memories. And Storm's like, oh yeah, I didn't know it was that bad. And he offered to, be a shoulder to lean on, which is nice.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Nice camaraderie. Okay. And I believe somehow inadvertently, one of you mentions Ryan, right? I forgot how.
Oh yeah. I think Storm's like, here, have some Muller's wine or whatever that brand he's making up.
Oh right.
Muller's mulled wine or whatever it is some sweet Shiraz fruity drink. And Snow takes a swig and he's like, hey, you and Ryan should start another business. And then Snow realizes that Ryan's no longer here, and so everyone gets a little sad. And I think actually, during one of the combat encounters, you called Ravener Ryan, but nobody noticed.
I did.
But I noticed.
Yeah, I did, because when I was calling out the initiative for everyone, Aiden said 17. I wrote down Ryan instead of Ravener. I was like, so I called out Ryan instead. I was like, oh wait, nope, that's not right. But yeah, you're right. And Maple was like, well, I have sending. Why don't we just send him a message? See what's popping, a little catch up. And so he sends him a sending under 25 words, and he's like, hey, what's going on? What's up? And we pan to some faraway Ubanian town. It's like the midnight, and the cold wind is bristling over Ryan's shoulders as he's laying prone with a crossbow in his arms, waiting for his target to arrive, lining up the shot. And he receives his message. And then Ryan, I forget what he says. He's like, well, I'm a little busy at the moment. Can you send me back tomorrow or something? And that's where that little encounter ends.
A little Ryan cameo.
Yeah, and that was cute. I didn't expect that to happen. That was fun. And so we can continue on a little bit, and I'm curious to see what AK thinks about that whole situation, because I feel like that is kind of the goal we're going for, right? Like the character to character roleplay interactions where there's a little deeper meaning than just playing around in the game or whatever. And this is like our true intentions, or at least what I think is really good D&D. I'm curious to see what he thinks about that, if that's what he that's what he likes or what he doesn't like or whatever. But yeah,
I bet he's just eating it up. He's loving it. He's like a pig in shit.
That's a really nice metaphor. Hear that, AK? Our roleplay is shit, and you are the pig that is rolling around in it.
Yeah, I would like to see more of that sort of thing. Obviously, you can't just make those sort of moments happen, but I think those are the real bonding moments within the party.
Yeah,
the real where the connections are made.
Yeah, I as a DM, I can never force stuff like that to happen. It just happens between you guys, and that's the magic. That's the good shit. You inject straight into your veins, Anyway, we continue on, and we fast forward again back to Kenji writing down some mushroom stew recipe from the walls that Eliwick transcribes the party.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that? All that recipe stuff for his character.
I don't know. Do you want me to start writing recipes?
No, I think in at least for Kenji, I feel like since that's a part of his character, I think that should be meaningful in some way. If he makes,
he's got a cookbook.
If he makes the recipe, then that gives a slight bonus,
a temporary HP, temp HP buff.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be huge, but meaningful and impactful enough that he has incentive to do that, and that kind of validates his character vision.
I honestly, because you know how we did it and then we rewinded and then we fast forward again. My intention was to actually award him with inspiration, now that I'm remembering, but I completely forgot about it when we fast forwarded back. So Kenji, if you're out there, have some inspiration for that moment in particular. But yeah, as of continuing it, I wouldn't really mind if you guys went down the temp HP path, I don't know, 5 health, 10 health.
Yeah.
It's not
whatever it is.
Overkill, not underkill, but I think it's a nice bonus to have. Obviously, it could probably get abused, so don't abuse it or whatever.
I mean, yeah, like it's like a long rest thing. Like every long rest, he can make a recipe, and it gives like a small buff. Like you get like a D4 with your next roll or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's pretty. D4 is pretty good. It's temp health. It's temp health. No. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the balancing.
Or like a +1 to your next roll.
Okay.
It's something tiny,
Yeah, tiny but meaningful. Like it's actually doing something. It's fair enough. It's worth thinking about. And so you guys decide to split up. And I, as a DM, was like, oh, you guys are splitting up. Oh. And anybody who's played D&D before knows you should never, ever split up the party.
Yeah, I mean, Lockie's sure saying, hey, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But like, hey, let's just split it up. Split up.
I mean, things could have gone much worse.
Yeah, of course they could have gone much worse. But we covered more ground, right? We found them.
At the end, you did find them. So 4 of you go up. Eliwick, Maple, Tokul, and Kenji, they go up stairs to the mushroom-infested cavern. So what I was going for here, right? So when you store stuff and it goes moldy, and then after a while it gets all fucked up and shit, right?
Like fuzzy and grey.
Yeah. I was thinking like that, except exponentially, right? So these dwarves had this like kitchen or this storehouse, right, where they had to abandon real quick. So they left all this food behind, right? Maybe they left like their little frog behind or some shit. And all like after like a period of however many X years or millennia, this thing fucking exploded in size, and now there's this colony of mushrooms, and there's this giant fucking frog thing down there that's been mutated throughout the ages, and trying to live its best life, and you guys go down and slaughter it. Anyway, that's the vibe I was going for.
At least for the mushroom part, could have been described as mold, like really intense mold that's gone into
Fair
mushroom. Because I just imagined more of the glowing mushrooms from before.
Ah, yes, the luminescent fungi. Fair enough.
Yeah, but if you really wanted to go for like proper stink zone mushroom mold, then yeah, mold's your word.
Mold is the word. So they go up and they trigger this explosion from this mushroom man. Not really mushroom man, but silhouette of a mushroom man. And Kenji flips out of the way. Tokul successfully beats the save, but Eliwick and Maple, they both fail the save. And they are inflicted with this, not even deadly poison, just this fuck around prank poison. Disease, where everything, person, or place they describe is now replaced with their name, and they are none the wiser about it. So Eliwick thinks Eliwick has been inflicted with Eliwick, and they should go to Eliwick's party and, get the cure from Eliwick type deal. And Tokul is confused, and Kenji's like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do. They're all just messing around up there. While downstairs, y'all are ferrying Storm and... Ravna's ferrying Storm across. And they get attacked by this froghemoth, this humongous, huge, mechanically speaking, frog beast with tentacles and 3 eyes, and it whips its tentacle at Storm, and Storm nimbly dodges out of the way, and then it focuses attention on Snow and grapples Snow, and then Snow escapes and runs up the stairs, and this party has this combat, and, combat's combat. You guys...
Everyone rushes down, and we kill the indigenous creature.
You slaughter it as it tries to run away in fear of its life, and then you harvest its body for parts. You savage barbarians.
Some eyeballs and a bit of tentacle.
Man, what is Snow? Snow is always like the eyeballs, right? That's the thing, right?
No, eyeballs is actually... Eyeballs is actually a thing from one of my other characters.
I knew it.
Remember the Lord of the Rings one-shot?
Oh, yeah.
And I played this guy called Beran, and he loves eyeballs. You just always get an eyeball, put it in an eyeball jar, and then later when he's feeling peckish, he just,
eyeball snacks.
Yeah.
Ew, disgusting.
So I was making a callback.
Yeah, I was like, I know Kevin's played a character like this. I just don't remember if it was Snow or not. But yeah, you get the eyeballs. Yeah. Mabel takes a tentacle tentacle tip.
No, it wasn't Maple. It was Kenji. Kenji takes he wanted to get some tentacle, and Raven is like, I think it was a bit of Aiden coming through. He's like, I don't know what.
What is your plan with this?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what you want to do with that, but I don't see any point in doing that. We just killed the indigenous creature. Maybe we should just let it rest as one piece. And Tokul and Maple not listening.
No.
Diving straight in, breaking bits off everywhere. And even Storm's like, hey, look, for once I'm in agreement with Snow, we should move on. And Snow's actually like, hey, if you're gonna go through all the effort of plucking out the eyeballs, at least don't just throw them back into the swamp, just because a few people disagree. Just, it's a bit of a delicacy, it's a bit of a delicacy.
Doesn't care about the creature, cares about the food, the tasteful bits.
Waste not, want not.
Fair enough, I guess. I mean, we're gonna start. What's the show called where they just hunt giant creatures and then eat them? The anime, Toriko. Fuck, I forgot what it's called.
I'm not much of an anime watcher these days.
Yeah, there's a show where they just hunt these giant like dinosaur-like creatures and then turn them into food. It's great. It's like Monster Hunter, except not really Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Oh, the food in Monster Hunter looks so great. Anyway,
delicious. Anyway. You guys are like, oh, okay, we hunted this indigenous creature, we harvested it for parts, and we're ready to go down these stairs that lead to the final cavern. And you guys go down the stairs, and there's this... Wait a second. I did it again. Snow realizes, as you guys are harvesting body parts from this frog creature, that the existences, the assailants that were following you from before, have winked out of existence. Now there is only one remaining, and that person is still following you. And obviously, people surmise that, someone's probably killed them, and it's probably someone else actually following us now. And then everyone's else, and then there's the other one where like, they got bored, they didn't want to deal with the frog king, but maybe they pieced out.
Yeah.
But obviously, something's gone down. And you guys go down the stairs, and you are greeted by this man, this beautiful obsidian-skinned drow man, decked out in this jet black armor. He's got this cape around him. He's got a scimitar in one hand. He's got this dagger he's flipping around in the other hand. And he's sitting on one of the bodies of another drow who's been pretty much bled out. He's got suffered a massive stab wound and little cuts and nicks all around his body, and there's just blood everywhere.
See, I didn't imagine him with armor. I imagined him topless with like some trousers, and him like
he's getting very
juggling
sexual.
The knife. But like, yeah, he's like very muscular, kind of like when you have Geralt in Witcher 3. He's like super muscular, but he's super scarred.
I was going the opposite way, where he's more semi-androgynous. He's got a bit of a feminine kind of vibe to him, He's rather like athletic, very wiry frame,
No, I got very Chad
vibes
from him. Yeah.
Well, he's a bit of a jokester, isn't he? And he turns around and he's like, oh, I wasn't expecting, upper worlders to come down here and to be my captors. And he throws the dagger, and this body falls down the stairs after you guys. And he whispers a word, and the dagger reappears in his hand. And then he's, in my head, he's like waiting for this cool reaction. And the party's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, well, I guess the jig's up. And then he just tells he tells Tiz to just roll the other bodies down the stairs, and there's this guy just kind of pushing bodies like down the stairs, and these three other bodies fall down the stairs, and another very similar looking, pretty much the perfect replicate of the guy in front of you, who you guys realize is named Mizram, comes down, and it's like, oh, well, this guy doesn't talk at all, and there's some conversation where Snow's like, what does Snow say? Hey, you're under arrest.
He's like, hey, whatever your name is, you're under arrest. Under the authority of the matriarch.
And Mizram is like, well, yes, but do you want to talk it out? We could talk, we could chat, drow. They're probably going to stab you in the back and stuff. And Snow's like, no, you're under arrest. And
Snow would make a good cop.
Yeah, he's
very good cop.
Not swayed, but Tokul, on the other hand, throw a few compliments his way about the
Tokul and Kenji
justice and fighting for what's right.
Empathizing with the enemy.
The enemy.
That's
never nothing done. Wrong to you. And he's trying to. Tiz and Miz, they're just trying to figure out what you guys are doing down here, and eventually one of you guys cracks, and you're like, oh, we're looking for the Oathbreaker.
yeah, Kenji, hey, I see you. I wanted to say like, hey, do I hear this? But I was like, nah, I'll let it go. I'll let Kenji have some spotlight,
do some stuff.
But that hey, I'm going to retroactively ask if I did hear it, and then that's gonna bring up some like, hey, can we really trust Kenji? He's a bit of a blabbermouth, We already got one blabbermouth. We don't need two.
Just luckily one of the blabbermouths couldn't speak Elvish, so it was really just 4 people who could semi have a conversation with this guy. And he's like, well, Oh, yeah, you've got me. So just slap me up, put me in cuffs. Let's go. And everyone's like, huh?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait, what?
a bit too easy. Suspiciously easy.
He was...
I would have thought that on the way back that they would have done something tricksy, but no, they didn't.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, cause he was rather jovial. He was rather ecstatic to be cuffed by these dashing adventurers, and he even compliments the feathered and the fur of you all, and your brilliant names, and how you all fit your names quite spectacularly, and you're all very, very attractive people. And he
Quite the flatterer.
He compliments.
You know,
yes.
I would have liked to say, like, once we dropped him off, like, I would have had Snow, like, I didn't think of it at the time, but afterwards I was like, oh, I should have said, like, hey, look, it's nothing personal, you know. So, like, if we do see them later on, like, you know, while we don't have an arrest warrant for them, maybe we could work together, you know.
Ooh, they got to you too. They got to you too. They got to Snow as well.
No, I mean, I'm like, yeah, I didn't. I mean, Snow was never intending to make an enemy out of them. He's just doing what he's told, you know, so we can achieve our higher goal.
I mean, yeah, technically you guys aren't separated from them yet. We ended the session where you guys are in front of the matriarch spider lady and about to offer the two captives towards her, and that's where we ended. But you know, along the way, you know, he gets tied up, and he's like, well, that's not the first time we've been tied up, you know what I'm saying, blah blah blah. And you guys get a few
making a lot of sexual innuendos, you know, how males are just used for fun, either killed or otherwise used.
Yes. And you know, there's a bit of tugging. Would you say that he tugged on some heartstrings here? He got a bit of he got a bit of someone to emphasize.
Not from me. No, not from me. Maybe Tokul, maybe Kenji, maybe definitely Storm.
Look.
Hey, if they turn them against me, I'm gonna have to kill them all. I'm gonna have to kill them all.
You know, there's this moment where Miz asks Storm to, you know, play a song on the harp, and they have this beautiful elvish / common harp song they sing along. It's rather melancholic, you know. It's as if like someone's about to go to their death, and you're sending them to their death. He sings it anyway, you know. And even Kenji questions their intentions. He does this insight check, and he rolls rather high, and he notices that Miz is 100%, at least from what he's seeing, 100% like serious about not wanting to impair or interfere with your guys' adventures at the cost of his own. Like, well, if it's my freedom or yours, I'd rather choose your freedom. Like
they're good guys. They're good guys. They're just in our way, you know.
They're collateral damage.
Unfortunately, right? The circumstances as they are, Snow was not going to compromise the mission just because these guys were particularly nice or anything like that. Party may disagree, but listen, as the party leader, you got to make some decisions that not everyone will like in order to complete the mission, which is the Oathbreaker. We're here for the Oathbreaker.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that.
Exactly. And so, yeah, there's a bit of conversation, and eventually, you guys come back. And that's pretty much where we end the session, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is
a session.
It was pretty long, right? That was a long session.
Yeah, it didn't
4.5 hours?
Too short. It didn't feel long, but it didn't feel like it was a short session. It felt like there was some meat on the session. I felt like, to me, it felt like an average length session, regardless of how long it actually went. It felt like an average length session, so I was happy with the length.
Yeah, I mean, if we started at what, 7:15? Would you say?
Yeah, we started pretty early, pretty on time,
and ended at around 11:30. So like,
yes,
4 hours and 15 minutes. That's pretty damn long. Pretty damn long, at least relative to our recent sessions. And
yeah, it's longer. It's longer.
Is that the session length you would always want to have?
Yes, I would like it to average something like that, at least like. But I think it depends on like how long it feels. Like it could have been a 4-hour session, but if it was mostly combat, it feels short because narratively not a lot happened, right? But I think in this session a lot did happen. It didn't progress very far, but like there was a lot of like we met the matron mother, who is the daughter of the matriarch. I have to like make the distinction because like she refers to the matriarch as mother, but she's also the matron mother. So I think I have it in the notes as that spider daughter. That's what I have.
Spider daughter. You know,
started.
This is off tangent, but you know Dark Souls 1, spider boss.
Yeah, Quailag.
Oh,
Quailag.
Ooh, and then the sister. Oh my god. Yeah, I had the maddest crush on her when I was like 16.
Yeah, what?
You know the sister.
Yeah.
Who's like
she's
blind.
Like half spider. She's like half spider.
Yeah, but she's like the half of her that's not spider is like super hot.
Yeah, but what if you get with her? Then like, she's gonna eat you.
It'll be worth it.
Oh, you're down bad. Hey.
Anyway, spider lady. Yeah.
That actually, like, I was thinking like maybe that's what they would look like. They would look like spider centaurs, like
some of
Dark
them
Souls, like
do,
Quailag,
like
stuff
Driders
like
do, but this one in particular transforms between the two forms.
Yeah, it's more like an actual powerful spider, like Lord of the Rings, Shelob,
yeah.
and like I forget. There's like a spider named G who's like the mother of Shelob, but yeah, they're like all powerful.
Yeah. The big one, the big ass one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed
cool.
the session. Is there any other things you wanted to talk about?
No, maybe this will be a shorter pod.
Oh,
I guess that's like the bounce back from the 3-hour pod we had last week.
Oh, we gotta even it out, average it out.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Sure. You sure you you don't want to talk about anything else?
I'm trying to think. Oh, do you want to talk about any important stuff we missed in the last recap? Like the big recap, like any other important plot points?
I mean, I think we got it all, right?
I mean, we missed stuff like
unless
Bennett and stuff
unless
like
you,
that, right?
Oh, right. No, we got Bennett. We missed stuff like
Cedric.
We missed Cedric, who's actually not that important, but he's a recurring character. What do you mean, how dare you? What's he done this entire story?
Hey.
He's just gotten dicked this entire story.
He is just a man in debt. He's trying to pay his debt, and it's not really working.
And that's it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Oh, actually,
that's it.
There is one thing that I forgot I wanted to talk about in this session. So, Snow and Storm, right? You guys had this heart-to-heart conversation where Storm feels like he's been, a little bit betrayed, a little bit, because Snow is rather hypocritical when he, talks shit about Storm, signing that contract with the demon and stuff, and you guys inadvertently releasing a demon. What do you think is going to happen if Storm and the rest of the party finds out that you murdered a little girl on a beach?
We'll get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge once we get there.
We'll burn that bridge when we cross it.
Yeah, I have been thinking about it here and there. I don't think the response is going to be good. I think the reason why Snow's keeping a lip tight on that is because, one, it's a painful memory and he doesn't want to think about it, and two, it may compromise the party's confidence in Snow as the party leader. And right now he's just trying to keep everyone safe and alive and together. I'm not sure what the response will be. I'm not expecting it to break apart the party, but maybe there'll be some ramifications over that. Maybe Snow will get scolded more than once.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really big deal, to be honest. Like you say maybe it won't break the party, but I'd say there's potential there for some really bad shit to go down. Like, well, yo, this isn't cool, dude. Like, bruh, how could you do something like that? And sure, you could blame it on the demon, but then that'd just be hypocritical because Storm also had the same issue. So there's a lot of parallels here, and I'm just curious to see where that goes. But okay, I guess we'll save it for if it ever happens.
The only thing that kind of gives me relief is that Snow's not the only murderer in the group. Storm is a murderer. Ryan's a murderer.
I mean, we could frame it as Snow being much worse on the scale of murder, because Storm killed somebody who was, in his eyes, not even a good guy, right? He was his deadbeat uncle who was stealing his nephew's tuition and spending it on booze and pretty much fucking over his nephew. Your one is not.
But murder is murder. Murder is murder.
Okay.
Murder is murder.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Yeah. Do you think that's ever gonna come up naturally, or do you think something would have to like a third party would have to force this memory to come back up, and
You know what I don't want to happen? Like, I do want it to occur organically, but I don't want it to occur because you brought it up this podcast and they listen and they're like, they try to ham fist their way to try and get it out of Snow. I wouldn't like that, but yeah, I wouldn't mind playing it out like if it came up like at a natural time.
Okay. I remember writing a lot about like what could happen, or like thinking about what could happen, and there was some plans in the pipeline and stuff, but that's a long way down the line, and so we shall end it here, I believe.
Actually, just like I just thought of something,
hey.
right? Just cut that bit.
No,
just cut that last bit where you say you end it.
Hey, I guess we're not ending.
But I thought, I was thinking back, like, not that we can change it retroactively or anything like that, but I thought, like, since that's such Snow, the beach episode was such like a significant part in Snow's life, like it would have been cool to have Snow like have like some PTSD over that. Like, he'd like see the girl, like he would like have visions of the girl, or he would see the girl in like real life, and she would be like just running past, and he'd see her for a second, and then he'd like try to look for where she is, and he can't find her, and like she'll like talk to him and stuff, and like I just finished Dead Space 2 recently.
Yeah.
You know how like Nicole keeps like talking to you, and like there's this one bit was like I was really compelled by, where like basically in the first half of the game, Nicole's like this demon, all bloodied, and like there's static coming out of her eyes and mouth, and there's one part where she, like, you open the door and she like lunges at you with a scalpel, and then once the sequence ends, it's just Isaac holding it up against his face. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Like, I mean, that's not cool, but like that's like it's a good way to portraying like Isaac's insanity.
Yeah, he's going batshit crazy. I mean, no cap, right? As you guys were having this conversation, I was also thinking of something similar on the lines like Snow. Sometimes he's like the rushing of the waves on the beach, stuff like that. Just like stuff that just kind of calls back to it, but not like directly. Where it's just like, oh shit, it's coming back to me, like stuff like that, or like the rain on the wet sand or whatever, just stuff like that. But that'd be kind of cool, honestly. I don't know, maybe we'll put it like under some rolls, or maybe I will secretly roll at some point and just like roll a d20 every now and then. If it hits like a nat 1, then it's time for PTSD.
That would be cool. I'm fine if it just occurring now, just because it's a cool idea. I thought another thing, like, because you know how Snow was like burnt alive, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is something like I wish I had been doing from the start, but I wish Snow had like a phobia of fire. Like, you haven't watched it, but in Game of Thrones, there's a character called the Hound, who's like half his face is like burnt off, and he's like deathly afraid of fire. I mean, and that's like his whole, yeah. I thought that would have made sense, but like I think it's a bit too late for Snow to suddenly be pussy about
suddenly being afraid of fire. I mean,
although Snow does like stare into the fire a lot. Like, I feel like I haven't been doing that intentionally, but I like noticing a trend where Snow
like
just
the solemn,
at the fire, and he just sits like he's just watching the fire, mesmerized by the fire.
And then you get the camera angle where you look at Snow past the fire, and you see the glasses and the fire, and the reflection is like flickering. Yeah, of course, classic shot. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's like a trigger moment, right? Like where something happens, or at some point he's caught on fire, and it all just comes rushing back to him. And he's like, holy shit, that's right, I fucking burnt to death that one time, or almost burnt to death that one time. But who knows? It would be...
It's just some cool character stuff that would be awesome. And I think definitely like if we had like a fresh new campaign, like there's definitely a lot of things that I would be thinking about in terms of like making a new character and like how his backstory affects him during the campaign and stuff like that. But you know, hindsight's 2020. Like, of course, there's a lot of things that all of us could have done better during the campaign, but didn't do right or whatever it is. But hey, it's all about improving along the way. No one's finished work of art yet. We're all work in progress.
Yeah, I mean, it goes like both ways, right? I mean, like if we start a new campaign, sure, we would get all these cool things from the start, but we'd have all these character flaws and whatnot. But I'm certain, like halfway through that campaign, we'd be like, oh, there's all this other new shit we found out about.
Yeah.
And then we want to start a new
campaign. But like
it's always gonna be like
that's that. That's like we level up from the, you know, we're like level 10 now, and then halfway through another campaign will be like level 15, you know, in terms of our D&D skills and thinking about characters as people instead of just a mode to self-insert yourself, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's food for thought. I am interested to see what Kenji, AK, thinks about all that. I keep calling him Kenji because it's his character, but his name is AK. I just see what AK thinks about all of that, to be honest. If he's down for that kind of shit, or if he's used to that. Yeah, kind of shit.
We should have talked about his like expectations, because I think I remember we had Aiden on. I think maybe it was his first appearance on the podcast, maybe first and only appearance. Has he only been on once?
Aiden?
I think
he's been on twice. Yeah.
Well, it was a while ago.
Yeah,
we should have him on.
It was a while ago.
We should have him on again, but yeah, I remember like the whole Ryan Wilson name debacle was because he wasn't expecting it to be a more serious,
roleplay centric
campaign.
Yeah,
and then he made adjustments. He made adjustments because his expectations got put in line, and you know, he knows what to expect now. So yeah, and then his new character is again an evolution of him as a player. Although I think in this session he didn't get a lot of spotlight.
Yeah, he had a lot of technical issues in the background, so that kind of also is one of the reasons why. You know what? I want to say something, and you might not like it, but I want to say it, right?
Yeah.
Where'd Snow's voice go?
You mean like the super gruff voice?
I mean, he just sounds like Kevin. Every time I hear him, I'm like, is that Kevin talking or is that Snow talking?
Damn, okay. I think maybe I'm not trying hard enough, because I have tried to like, yeah, maybe I've gone the way of Tokul and just for like, I think I'm doing it, but I'm actually not.
Yeah, you're just so used to doing it.
I was thinking of like, I was actually like, okay, when I'm talking, I got to make sure like I actually sound a little bit different. Yeah. But I remember the start of the campaign, it was like, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of dialed that back, but it was still like a bit there. But maybe I've inadvertently dialed it back too far. Yeah. I'll try and bring it back a little bit. I'll try and bring it back.
Hey Tokul, where's your voice, huh? Hey Matt. Yeah.
Okay, we've told him like a bajillion times. All right, just let him be. Let sleeping dogs lie.
All right. Hey Kenji. Hey, AK.
Hey, Kenji, on the other hand, hey, he's fresh. We can cut into him a little bit. Yeah.
Kenji, AK.
What's your voice?
What's your voice? Or you gonna stay like?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not forcing anybody to do voices. We're not forcing people to do voices. I'm just saying.
But we are coercing you to though.
Yeah. You know, just saying. You know, it's easier to tell if it's AK or if it's Kenji if you have a little twist on the voice. It doesn't have to be big, but you know.
Well, yeah. Well, let's not just throw him on the deep end. What options does Kenji have for like a voice? Right, you can go with the simple like higher or lower pitch voice. You could go with the
slightly racist, like Chinese/Japanese, Asian accent. You know.
I mean, if you put it like that, technically any accent is racist. But yeah, maybe he could put on a slight Asian accent. Although Japanese and Chinese accents are actually like, I feel like they're really hard to pin down. Like, actual Japanese accents sound a lot different than like movie Japanese accents. So maybe don't try to like mimic the actual Japanese because, yeah, it doesn't sound as cinematic. And also there's a difference between like Chinese movie accents and actual Chinese accents. So like maybe if you wanted to go for an accent, like maybe copy Ken Watanabe in Last Samurai. I think he puts on like a nice cinematic Japanese accent. And I think for Chinese, what's a good reference for Chinese? I think that like any kung fu movie where like a kung fu master speaks English, it's usually like it's got a twinge of like Chinese accent in it.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, it's up to him.
I couldn't give you a specific one.
It's up to
yeah.
him. Not up to
But
us.
yeah, there's some ideas for you, Kenji. Take them or leave them. Do the voice or don't do the voice. But when you don't do the voice, we're gonna call you out on it, right?
Oh, wait, hold on. We're gonna call him out on it.
Hey, you started it,
no,
right?
Look, I'm just
ending.
saying. Look, he doesn't have one, and maybe if he does want to do one, he can do it. Like no one.
Well, that's not the way you said it before. You're like, hey Kenji, where's your voice? Yeah, wait, are you gonna put on a voice? Hey,
I'm dialing it back. You know, I'm taking a little pressure off. I mean, like for real, you don't have to do a voice, but it does help obviously with the roleplay. And if you don't want to do the voice, you could also do the approach where you say what Kenji would say, and then say the way he says it. Like he says it in like this gruff voice, or he says it in a like X kind of accent, or he says it slowly or faster or whatever. Because I do that sometimes. Obviously, when I don't know how to voice a character, I just tell you guys how I think they would sound, and then I just say what they would say. So yeah, it's really up to you how you want to do it. But I think it helps roleplay, and I think Kevin would also agree with that. Is that right?
No, I disagree.
Oh.
No, I agree. I agree.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Matt did do the classic like I'm Turkle voice. You know, I can't do the Turkle voice. But
That
Matt
was
has
really
a particular.
good, huh? Yeah, Matt has a good voice.
He starts off strong, but it peters off because he forgets mid-session. Unfortunately, Matt has got like that guppy memory, that goldfish memory.
Whoa!
He forgets the. Hey, he does. He forgets the voice.
You're really throwing
like
out the bus now, huh?
he forgets the voice. But I'm right? Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Anyway, that's where we'll end it, guys. Yeah, I had to end with some bombs. Anyway, unless there's anything else this time for sure, right?
I've got one more thing.
Oh, it keeps going.
I do have one more.
It keeps
thing.
going.
This has been episode 28.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Fucking
you motherfucker.
Join us next time. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.